Johnson's going to go underneath Scaife the way things are looking there. No, Mark's been able to take the road back from him.
This is the real... Oh, Amber, with the fortunes of this team, how they've gone completely the opposite, haven't they?
These guys are doing 10-6 and 10-8. What have we got going on here?
Who's that? That's
Glenn. And this is
4 seconds. His teammate Marcus Ambrose is one of the slowest at 18.4 and a stall, and the slowest of all was Mark Larkham at a 21.3 second pit stop. Greg Rust?
Went down to Larkham Motorsport just while Grant was chatting there and had a word to some of the boys. I've got some pretty slick weather collecting data down there. It's around about 17 degrees at the circuit at the moment. There are some heavy black clouds off to the south, but it's not going to be enough to cause a concern. Check the barometric pressure, and a sudden downward skew in barometric pressure normally means rain. Doesn't look like we're going to get any of that today.
It's a nice 33-degree day inside Craig Lowndes' car at the moment. Need your shorts on, have a drink, T-shirt.
Retired.
Yeah, it's some problem there with car 35, and it looked like it had a rub down the side, so there's a puzzle to solve there. And there's Jace.
Scaife, meanwhile, is cruising a 10-1 as opposed to a 10-8 for Bernard. 5 seconds the lead at 286 points. Oh, Lowndes.
Lowndes. Got a whack.
That was on the main straight.
What was that? Oh,
Well, he's just gone across the line there, and he's showing 8th. So who did what to who there?
I wonder if there was contact coming out of that final turn. It seems very strange to end up over that side of the straight. Big moment there for Craig Lowndes and the Gibson Motorsport team. But this man really on top of his form at Oran Park Raceway may have had to take a back seat to Craig Lowndes in qualifying. But boy, when the crunch came, race trim absolutely dominant, brilliantly fast in the race laps. Team well drilled in the pits. Let's have a look at this. Oh, Tander.
It's Tander.
So, big dust up on the final turn.
I think Lowndes will still be 3rd on the day, according to my numbers. Here's a replay from a different view, looking backwards from Craig's car. Well, I don't reckon they're going to think too favourably about that one.
Yeah, I reckon you're right there.
Whoa. Craig gets it all gathered up. It's back on the racing team to get through that pack cleanly. And let's have a look how they start. The Queensland 500, Ambrose and Crick, Bernard and White, and all Stone Brothers, Falcon front row. Mazira Longhurst will start off the 2nd row with Perkins and Ingle alongside. Bowen Wills and Morris and Neal fill the 3rd row. Johnson and Radicic, Seaton and Richards out of row 4.
From position 9, it's the highly talked about combination of Lowndes and Crompton, Larkham and Gardner. How will the former bike champ go? Murphy and Kelly, Ritter and Stokel in the 2nd DJR car. Wheel and Lay, Tander and Bargwana. Scaife back in 15th. Bright starting, of course, and Pretty and Kelly.
One of the Kmart cars stuck on the grid behind the starting order you can see there. Ellery and Brabham, McConville and Bates. Forbes and Parsons, Jones and Clellan round out the top 20. Jim Richards and Dean Canto team up in the 2nd FTR. Ford, Macro and Yulden. Richards and Fogg, they're all team Kiwi. And Faulkner and Baird. Looks like problems in the background there.
And it's Pretty and Kelly.
Commodore.
Yeah, Nathan Pretty and Rick Kelly, they have come to a stop. We keep going through the grid. Ferrier and Dumbrell in the 2nd. Valvoline, Cummins car, Harrison, Breed, McDougall and Mediki, Romano and Kelly. Brock and Owen, that's Jamie Brock, son of Peter. Donaher and Cranbrook. Nash and Ricciardello, Tratt and Jones out of position 32. Terry Ryhoon, Rod Salmon, Seiflich and McGill. Very fortunate to be in this field, and we'll talk about that later in the race. But the big thing is, right at the moment, Barry, this Kmart car, and look at that. That is very disappointing stuff. And I think that's Rick Kelly.
Yep. Yeah, 18-year-old Rick Kelly was supposed to make his V8 Supercar debut, Baz, and it's lasted about 2 metres. HRT showed everyone how to do it. Oh, problems here in the Gibson Motorsport garage. A big fire for the Rodney Forbes David Parsons Falcon. Fire marshals on the scene.
Yeah, down here in pit lane, the car was just parked, pulled into the garage, obviously had a problem. As soon as he tried to shut the engine off, it must have backfired at the edge of the bay and burst into fire. There now, the fire marshals are on it, of course, trying to put it out now, but it looks like it's still going underneath the bonnet there, but a serious situation down here in pit lane.
That's not the first time that the Gibson Motorsport team have suffered from fires in the car. They had one earlier this weekend with Craig Lowndes and Neil Crompton's car, and they suffered a similar situation at testing as Mark Larkham makes an inside move on Larry Perkins. He's coming from a long way back. That's pretty ambitious, but it's paid off for Larkham. Larry won't want to relinquish that position. They go side by side. Larry will have the preferred line into this next left-hander. Coming up into turn 4, Perkins will hold on. Larkham will have the long way around. So a good, strong run from Larry Perkins. great to see him back up there. His best result this year has been 6th. It's been a fairly mediocre year for Larry. Oh, he's been turned around. Larkham has hit him. And off he goes. So contact there between Larkham and Perkins.
Oh, kept it all together, though. Well done.
Well, he gets back on the track, but now he's picked up a whole lot of dirt and garbage in those tyres. He won't be happy about that. Larry's been doing some great lap times in this opening stint. We'll see Crompton now moves up to try and pounce on the Castrol Commodore as he gets back up to race speed. Paul Radisich, though.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, it's Larry up the inside there. And was there contact? I don't know. I couldn't. Let's have a look here. It's Larkham. It's close. Well, it was Larry's corner. Was there a tap?
Looks like there might be. Hang on.
Oh, yes, yeah, there was.
So, battle for position early in the Queensland 500. Let's have a look at the Shell Helix replay from another angle. There it is. Just contact in the rear left fender. As Larkham comes in now to serve his stop-go penalty. What a crushing blow to the Larkham Motorsport team.
Morris has dropped back a couple of positions. He's dropped behind Todd Kelly now, running in 7th in the Big Kev Racer, and Larry Perkins has dropped from 4th back to 10th. He'll pick up a position. We've had contact between McConville and Crompton.
Oh, Crompton, not Lowndes.
So top corner, that's turn 6. It's all happening at Willowbanks, and Crompton's got problems to the rear right, or was he just lighting it up?
No, I think rear right damage.
So it's all happening at Queensland Raceway. Contact there between McConville and Crompton. Here comes Mark Larkham to serve his stop-go. Gets the green paddle, and he's back into action, but he's lost a lot of track position. Look at this, Crompton.
That's it.
Or maybe pick the front right eye up or something. It's just a real battle.
Crompton not happy with the car.
Okay.
And he looks like he's headed for the pit lane as well. He's got smoke belching from that left rear tyre. So perhaps contact with McConville has damaged the bodywork. But as we've seen a number of times, it's usually only a problem when the car is loaded up in that direction.
Get out of his way a little bit to make some room, because he's going to dive bomb the thing, which he managed to do anyway.
They haven't been happy with the setup of that car all weekend. So they've been battling with that, and it sounds like, and it looks like they are still struggling with it. Neil Crompton will bring that car in from some adjustments.
He may choose to stay out there. He could be telling the team that he's not happy with the car, and maybe the adjustments that they're talking about will be when the scheduled stop, because they wouldn't want to come in for a stop any earlier than planned. A lot of teams will be hoping to hang out there at least till that magic 54, 55 lap zone. But Crompton is coming in, so problems that they cannot contend with in this car. So that's a blow to the Gibson Motorsport team early in the Queensland 500, lap 13.
And Paul Radisich, race leader, is currently enjoying a 3.5-second lead up front over Thomas Mazira, who has run a very clever race so far. Crompton brings the Gibson Motorsport Ford in.
What a day for Gibson Motorsport. First the fire with Rodney Forbes, and now Neil Crompton with that contact. Looking at the right rear tyre, doesn't seem to be too much problem there. There was rubbing on the guard on the former tyre, but I don't think it will be a problem this time. Cromley will now drop the car and head out very, very shortly.
Did hear Neil talking about adjusting ride heights, etc., to make the car a little more comfortable. Let's hope it's better this time round. We're on lap 14 of 161.
That was an intriguing pit stop, but now it appears the race is over.
Well, no doubt the boys down in the pits will get onto this story and tell us what happened there, but it did seem very strange that he had this tyre rubbing against the body. They brought him in. There was no attempt to fix or drag the damaged guard away from the tyre. And I wonder if this is a...
Brakes, brother. Why would you be that far down into that?
Not sure.
That's a very, very odd place to go off the circuit, and in that show.
Right up to third place. Let's have a look at the Crompton incident again.
Oh, the right rear lot.
I reckon that rear tyre's cut.
I reckon you're right, because it definitely went right rear, didn't it?
Yeah, I reckon he's cut a rear tyre.
That's the one that we've seen rubbing all the time, haven't we?
Boys in the pits will be able to tell us. But
Kelly, we'll talk about Todd in just a moment. Here's the replay of Greg Crick spinning in the Pertec Ford.
May have been contact with that
Romano
young Lions car. Oh, problems here. He's just been passed by Greg Red.
Oh! Paul Morris.
Didn't have enough problems. He's just got a big hit in the rear from the Big Kev Racer. So Stephen Richards was slowing down, no doubt about it. Ritter had got past him. So now he's got to try and head into the pits with the Gran Turismo 3 camera on board. Well, are we going to see...
What just happened there, mate?
Are we going to see another rash?
Maybe.
Okay, there's no damage at all. Have a look at the right rear.
Yeah, they will have to have a very close look at that right rear.
Maybe Paul Morris didn't see him slowing down, you know.
Well, this is a valuable time here, very important time for FTR.
Well, it's an important time for more reasons than one, Lee. Glenn Seaton very quickly grabbed his helmet, but you'll notice the amount of laps that have been completed aren't the minimum for one driver. One driver in this race, at least one in the two teams, if you like, must complete a minimum of 54 laps. So this is a tough stop for this team. They can't do the driver change they'd planned.
Yeah, are we going to see another Ford failure at Queensland Raceway? We've seen a few fall already. Craig Lowndes and Neil Crompton out, Rodney Forbes and David Parsons. Problems here now for the Seaton Richards car. Boy, oh boy, Mark Larkham out with suspension failure. Forwards are falling.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. You can't see with that, it's a little bit late, but I guess there's every possibility that Morris didn't see that he was slowing right up. Now, let's have a look at this.
Look how fast Paul Morris is coming up on him.
Oh, yeah, I have to say that was... Yeah, he did see that he was... yeah, he came in very, very, very quick.
Pit lane speed, we've had a big collision out there. That is the Bargwanna Tanda car and Cameron McConville. Those guys were battling for a top 10 position. Bargwanna was in 9th, McConville was in 10th.
Cameron's, that's the second incident he's been involved in this today. Crompton, the earlier one.
Listen, guys, you obviously saw that. It's been hit pretty hard in the rear. I'm obviously coming in.
Bargwanna tells them he's coming in.
Okay, copy that, Bargwanna. In this lap. Got that big...
It looks like there's damage to that left rear tyre or left rear wheel. Let's have a look. Oh, might be left suspension damage too. Look at that.
Yeah, it is. Look,
there's a collapse under the rear of that car. You can see it's sitting right down on that left rear corner. So something's broken in the rear axle assembly. That's major damage for the Valvoline Cummins car. And we don't know yet of the damage to the Lansvale Racing Team car driven by McConville.
And their outstanding effort of 2 second places in the last 2 years looks like it will not be repeated in 2001.
Feverish work down here.
Well, this is going to be frantic down here for the Valvoline Cummins race team. Garth Tander getting in. Jason Bargwanna is out, but I just had a word to team boss Gary Rogers. He is not confident that this car will be right by the time they fix it and get it back out on track.
It's got pretty heavy damage. You can see it graphically as he rolled into pit lane. The team choosing to do their pad change, but I think they've shut the engine down as well. Garth Tander gets in, Jason Bargwanna gets out.
Nega, hold the car until we have a look under the rear. Hold the car.
So they're telling the car controller not to release that car until they've had a look under here. And obviously there's some pretty serious damage for the car to be sitting down like it was.
And we've had word too that race control have asked for a replay of this incident.
Look at
That's
that.
why it broke.
That's a hit and a half, isn't it?
What a hit.
Fair old thump, wasn't it?
Now we don't know how the Lansvale Racing Team Commodore is, but an impact like that,
Base, I would say.
yeah, you'd imagine there'd be some equally bad damage. The Valvoline Cummins mechanics having a look under the car, trying to find what the problem is, how bad it is, whether they can get back in the race. Let's have a look at this on the Shell Helix replay.
Oh, he's lucky not to go over.
Yeah, really lucky.
Well, we just had a look at the replay. Jason Bargwanna.
Queensland 500, we've lost the McGill Skyfleet car.
We hear that Paul Radisich is getting ready to come in as well. So this much expected battle between the Shell, Dick Johnson Racing, Stephen Johnson and Mark Scaife. Problems here.
McConville.
I think it might be Rick Bates. Rick Bates at the wheel. So stuck right.
Oh no, the end of it.
Marcus
Terrible
Ambrose.
What a
has
turbulent
gone-
weekend, eh?
Oh, just amazing, isn't it, how you can be.
Guys, climbing out of the car.
Never rains, but it pours.
And that's a sorry sight. The Pertec Ford up against the wall. Our pole sitter Marcus could be out. And he's down to 12 and he's getting instructions. There's something wrong,
Oh dear.
desperately wrong with the car.
Oh,
And there's
flat
flat
Front, flat.
Yeah. So what a nightmare of a day for the both Stone Brothers cars. And
It is the flat tyre, not... keep going. It is a flat tyre, not a loose tyre, so keep going if you can.
Good instructions from the pits.
Yeah,
Let's not forget
really.
that there's points. Points are paid all the way down to 32nd position, and someone who will get, a team who will get points, and I can update you, we did earlier think that they were out of the race. They've fixed the problem and soldiered on, and that is the second Gary Rogers Valvoline Cummins car of Jason Bargwanna and Garth Tander there in 18th position, 10 laps off the lead.
And David Bernard just limped this around the pit lane. You just see the damage there. The wheel is now starting to wobble. Hopefully that'll stay on. Oh, goodness.
Oh dear, it doesn't look that hot.
Slow it down, David. Slow it down. Slow it down.
Ross Stone on the headset. Slow it down, David. So hopefully he can bring this back into pit lane without any more damage to the Haviland car. It's been a disastrous weekend for the Stone Brothers team after such a brilliant start in qualifying. But as so many drivers said in the press conference yesterday afternoon, qualifying is 5% of the job. The 95% comes on Sunday.
He's going to have fun and games getting around the next right-hander.
And that tyre may have come back onto the track too, because it had a fair bit of momentum as he flicked it off. It was coming back onto the circuit. So Bernard is okay now. He's made it into that pit lane entry. And he will cruise on down at a much slower rate. Lap 138 of 161. We're winding it down here at Willowbank.
See it grinding away that.
Did you hear what I just heard?
No,
we're
what was that?
not going to get this car back out. Is that what they said?
It sounded something back out. I didn't
Well,
understand.
maybe we'll put a new wheel and we'll get you back out. We'll
Yeah.
see soon enough.
The Stone Brothers don't give in that easily.
Oh,
Yep.
look at,
Brake for this, please. Brake for the...
oh, look at this. There's another one.
That's the McDonough Leighton Cranbrook car.
Yeah, he's had terrible problems with his wheels. That's a couple of times he's lost tyres. The right-hand side has made a problem purely because of contact on David Bernard's car. But this time, a left tyre. I don't know what for. He's been running off the track a fair bit, using full usage of the whole track to try and maximise his times and make up for lost ground. But he opens the door. He hasn't climbed out. Looks like he is going to go back out. Bit of front damage to the front bar also. But this horror weekend for David Bernard and the rest of the Stone Brothers team continues.
See what's happened here. The under tray under that spoiler has been ground off by that trip around the circuit with it rubbing against the road surface. So now they're just trying to tape up that under tray. It has quite a critical effect on the performance of the car, particularly the front end grip. And there's the tyre.
Oh, there's the tyre.
Sitting well and truly on the racetrack. So will we have a safety car to remove that? Only time will tell.
You can see some clouds off to the distance here. We've been talking about.
Did it just come round?
Oh,
No, it's the other
no,
car.
it's Adam Macro.
So, heart-stopping moments at the end of this race. Can you believe it? There's lightning flashing in the distance. We've got the Holden Racing Team car out there on wet weather tyres. Russell Engel still leading by 2.6 seconds, the gap between Radicic. But John Bowe is now catching Jason Bright at about 4 seconds a lap. Bright is really struggling for lap speed out there at the moment.
From one Castrol car to another, and that's disheartening for Luke Yulden and Adam Macro. The two young guys have been doing very, very well today. Here's the sister car, the primary car, number 11, Larry Perkins, Russell Engel. The enforcer is behind the wheel at the moment. There is 10 laps to go here at Willowbank before this man wins his second Queensland 500. And boy, has it been a testy day. High temperatures earlier in the day. We're under thunderstorm conditions now. Will it stay away for just 10 more laps?
And can Jason Bright hang on to that valuable fourth place? John Bowe is closing on him very quickly. 11 seconds the gap now.
Oh, look.
Was that Matt Neal gone off at the end of turn 3?
11 seconds the gap between the Caterpillar car. There's Matt Neal in the big Kev machine. Everyone's going off. Does this suggest we are getting a little bit more rain on the track than is obvious on the cameras? Everyone's starting to spear off all sorts of different parts of the circuit. So maybe it was a good call by the whole 8 or 9 laps. Is going to be crucial.
No, that was Matt Neal running off at the end of turn 3, and let's not forget that Matt had a very big accident at the Oran Park round in the new VX Commodore for Big Kevin. Slammed it into the side of the wall.
Might be Paul Morris back in the big Kev car. We're just checking on that. He might have recovered from his problems.
Going on down here at the Shell team. Now that call to come in was instigated by Stevie Johnson. He was out there in the pit saying, bring him in, it's about to pour down. And he's right, because the decision to move to wet weather tyres has proved correct, because it's really coming down now out here.
Here's Greg Murphy, race leader. He's peeled off into pit lane, so Paul Radicic now takes over the lead of the race. Greg Murphy.
Around about 12 seconds gone so far, Mark. It's taking a little bit longer on the front left than this team would like. The drops in pit lane here of rain are very heavy.
Now watch the overlap here. It's going to be interesting to see where Paul Radicic and Russell Ingall are positioned on the track. He had a 31-second lead when he came into the pits, allowing for slowing down and speeding up.
They've already gone past Mark, so Radicic and Ingall are okay. Greg Murphy should regain in third. This is your race leader, the Rat, Paul Radicic. Very, very heavy conditions. Be careful. The instructions from the pits that is obvious, and there has not been a great deal of wet weather racing nor testing here at Queensland Raceway, so this is pretty much uncharted waters.
There's never been a wet race at Queensland Raceway in the 2 years of V8 Supercar competition we've seen here, so the drought has clearly broken. Everyone's back to a clean slate in terms of settings and what you got to do. But it looks like the Shell team. Oh, problems here for John Bowe.
That's while he was in third position, and he has thrown that away. Well, perhaps a podium position, and it is gone now for the Cat Ford.
He was trying to stay out there on slick tyres, but the weather got too heavy, and look at the disappointment. The Cat team, now John's going to be stuck there.
I cannot tell you how hard it's raining. It's really going down.
John Briggs in the team will not believe that.
Now, what are they going to do here? Are they going to bring out a safety car? Are they going to red flag an ice skating rink? And here's the John Bowe incident. On slick tyres, John Bowe is a passenger from here.
Well, you have to say, as far as their respective V8 Supercars careers are concerned. Oh, he's gone! Radicic, the race leader, is gone!
And what about...
Spun out of contention. Russell Ingall went through on the inside, so Ingall has regained the lead. Radicic desperately tries to get the car back off the grass and onto the black stuff. So heading down into turn 4 and 5 and spun. So Ingall regains the top spot.
It's an absolute monsoon here at Queensland. A tropical rainstorm, and Paul Radicic, you could see him struggling trying to get that power to the ground in treacherously slippery conditions. And here's the new race leader, Russell Ingall.
Oh, no!
Big brake lock-up on the Castrol Commodore.
Look at that.
How long did he carry that lock brake?
Now he's going to need some valuable feedback here from the team. They'll need to instruct how much he has over Radicic so he can just calm it down. Stephen Ellery has gone, oh no, whilst in 6th position. 18 seconds. Back it down for Russell Ingall. And apparently the race has been red flagged. Russell Ingall has won.
Well, hang on a minute.
Or it might go back one lap.
Because they always call a red flag on the lap previous
to the
lap they stopped at. Russell Ingall may still be declared second here. There's going to be a lot of discussion between the officials
about this.
Well, the team were patting Larry Perkins on the back, but that might be premature.
Well, no wonder they have red flagged it. It is absolutely bucketing down here at the moment. There's a bit of wind coming through with it as well. And the rain is really driving these very heavy droplets. And off in the distance, can you believe it? There's a break in the cloud. If only it had kept going a little bit longer, maybe it could have finished in dry situations.
Greg, we need to find out who has been declared the race winner, because if they pulled out the red flag, it's the lap previous to when the red flag was shown.
And that's what Larry Perkins is wondering as well, I'm sure.
Well, Nigel said it's definitely, I believe Nigel. Nigel's never wrong, and it's
Nigel
definitely
Greenway,
Radicic.
our race statistician, is saying Paul Radicic and Junior Johnson will be declared the winners.
We'll have to wait and see. There is the Rat. He is beached, sitting off to the side of the circuit.
He's still got time. The Water Rat.
The Water Rat.
You'll be right. We're going to go and argue the point now. We were still the leader on the leaderboard at the time.
No, it goes back to the last lap.
There's going to be some arguments down there before this race is declared.
Radicic is
We're
the
hearing
winner.
from race control that Radicic and Junior Johnson are the winners.
Well, in the 3 years, the history of this race, this has been the most exciting Queensland 500. It's been the most drama-packed.
I have never seen anything like that, not only at Queensland Raceway, but anywhere. Incredible drama in the Queensland 500. What a thrilling finish.
We have had confirmation from race control that...
What?
And Junior Johnson are the winners of the Queensland 500, as the race results are always called on the lap previous to when the red flag was shown. So there he is, the Water Rat, and here come the fans.
Look at that.
Paul Radicic wins in controversial circumstances and drama-filled. That is unbelievable.
Hope that bloke's got enough elastics in his shorts.
Disaster throughout qualifying. Do they all get through clearly? No. Cameron McLean, Tony Longhurst, Stephen Ellery's also gone as well. One of the Holden Racing car team has gone through, and Marcus Ambrose has missed both of those turns altogether.
Oh, look, and down there, that's the Kiwi car, and oh boy, that's
some pretty significant players.
Anthony Track.
Your Perkins is off, Jones, McLean, Jason Bright was tangled up, Marcus Ambrose went through the grass. There was a pile of people, and somewhere in the triggering process, Tony Longhurst was one of the early people out in that as well.
Yeah, you can see Tony coming running down the inside on the brakes. I'd like to see the replay there, but there were so many cars involved, you've really got to pick it to pieces in slow motion. Meanwhile, they continue. Russell Ingall leading this one. There's Craig Lowndes, managed to survive that first lap tangle. But look at the number of quality cars there are back in the pack. Glenn Seaton.
Fastest man in this morning's warm-up after a tough day yesterday. Didn't get onto slicks early enough, and he's got a lot of damage there. And the front left.
Front left is come unhooked.
45 degrees toe out on it.
Yep. Yeah, problems there for Seaton. He actually had a collision with Paul Romano yesterday, which put him out of the running. So he's having a terrible weekend at Wyndham. Look at this attack under brakes by Tander on the shell forward. This is up round turn 5, turn 6, turn 11, and coming onto the pit straight. Now here's Seaton. Is he going to be able to limp his way back to the pits? Boy, he's got a long way to go. And look at the damage on that Ford.
Oh, what a yo-yo of a weekend for Glenn Seaton. Only managed 2 laps in practice before he had some trouble, then had a lot of trouble in qualifying. But this morning in the warm-up seemed to post a pretty good time as well.
Look at this.
Oh, one of the Valvoline Cummings cars just goes wide. That's Tander. Managed to get it back up as he heads up along to turn 3.
You have to keep in mind the amount of water and mud and garbage on the road from that little incident down there, and obviously Garth has somehow found himself really tied up in it all.
The trouble is when you get to find out it's too muddy, and that is
Kelly's
too
off.
late.
This is going to be the story of the race. Look how icy it is off the racing line there. That grass is just so slippery. We're going to see a number of safety cars here as someone managed to get a bolt, not only on the grass, but on the numerous sand traps. Here's a replay of the incident. Well, it's a bit late.
It was all happening by then. Steve Ellery was in there in the middle as well. Look at
Take a look at Marcus Ambrose. just going cross country to rejoin the pack along the way. So he just made it inside there.
That was a good
Unbelievable.
Jason Bright did a good job to get it through. This is it. This is the disaster zone, turn 1.
No, there was contact. Ellery.
Ellery's touched the back of Longhurst, I think you'll find.
Brad Jones was also a victim. He went off on the other side of the track.
Larry Perkins as well.
There's Craig Lowndes.
Look at that.
The Gibson Motorsport Ford. And that sweeper is just deadly, isn't it? As you come around there, you're pushing quite a bit of speed into that left-hand turn, and Lowndes has obviously just steered straight through.
Looks like a bit of a ding on the left-hand door. Oh, that's where it came from. This is Simon Tander.
Contact with Tander.
That was the previous lap. He actually came off the sweeper.
Something just came off the car as well there, went off to the right of screen. So poor old Craig Lowndes. The last time we'll see this Ford, if all goes according to plan, we attract Murphy. Oh, there's Paul Radicic trying to get out of that bog on the infield.
No, I don't think so.
It just shows how slippery it is. A slick tyre on wet grass.
There has been a massive amount of rain here in the last few days. At night it's been extraordinary. See what happened?
Wouldn't be surprised to get a safety car out here soon. There's cars lying all over the place at the moment.
That started when he got up on the ripple strip.
And they're painted, aren't they, Neil? They're very slippery.
That's just up at the top of Penrite. Should come out of the sweeper. So Paul Radicic stuck in the mud.
But it started when the car tripped up on the inside ripple strip and launched up onto 2 wheels, and then he ended up on the outside ripple strip with the rear brakes locked.
He's not going to give up, is he?
He's going to do it as well.
He's going to make it.
Look at that.
A good effort.
Lap 10 of 32.
It's a patience test when you sit there and the car moves about 10 millimetres a minute.
Here's race leader Marcus Ambrose. Stone Brothers taking a punt on keeping him out there with a clear bit of track. 1:24.5.
And Rodney Forbes has gone off. And he's gone off on the outside of turn 5, the sweeper, which is the fastest corner on the circuit.
Ambrose 13.5. He still gave him enough room.
There's Jason Richards.
That's a shame.
Into the trap. Has he got enough to get out of it? Oh, that's a miracle. Nobody managed to do that throughout qualifying, but Richards has.
You see cars going left, right and centre. There's a lot of dirt and slippery stuff getting dragged onto the bitumen as well, so that wouldn't be helping the situation. But Marcus Ambrose has done it. Got past Bargwana. So Ambrose now up to 6th. He's really on a charge.
Just listening to Marcus Ambrose's car as it came past the pit wall moments ago. It does sound like it's got not a misfire, but almost something close to that now.
OK, we'll leave you to it, Marcus. Best of luck.
OK, don't forget, guys, Barry did nothing wrong with this car. It's going good.
Okay.
You're in the clear, Barry. Poor old Craig Lowndes certainly isn't. Marcus Ambrose is having a terrific time out there. And as he said about Bathurst, well, that seat still hasn't been filled, has it? He'll have a new partner in 4 weeks' time at Bathurst as they also put Rodney Forbes' car on the truck and take it back. So we've had quite a few casualties today. We've had seat...
It's like he's just been punching out such consistently.
Big spill at the back. There's all sorts of
that.
trouble. John Bower caught in there as well.
Cameron McConnell.
And David Bernard's gone off.
Oh, boy.
3 cars involved in that one.
That was a fairly massive shunt as well. Here's the trouble. So Bower comes into shot.
One of the Valvoline cars has made contact with Bow, and then Bernard and McConville have all got into it.
Caught in the crunch behind the Kmart Commodore.
And how lucky was McConville not to get hit by another car. Here's another replay from lower down.
Yeah, the trouble had already started just then. And also Paul Radisich just managed to avoid the trouble there. So you'll see the trouble there, right there. That's McConville stuck in the middle. And up to the top of the screen, you'll see McConville's car, bingo.
Oh, that's the same thing as happened to Cam's car at Queensland Raceway, wasn't it? The thing was almost flipped over.
Look at the damage on the front of Todd Kelly's
Look
thing.
at that, Todd Kelly's thing.
It's like it's hit a telegraph pole.
Oh, it's a wonder if thing's still running when you think about it, and it's gone in far enough to have...
Massive damage. Look at Ambrose now.
So both the Kmart Commodores have got a little bit of trouble, but Kelly's got a lot more trouble than Greg Murphy, who still leads this race, and David Bernard.
Bright was very defensive down into turn 11 that time, so Ambrose is really putting pressure on. And the last time through, all the key players were in the mid-25s with the exception of Bright. He looks like he might be just slightly struggling for pace.
If he wants to get it back, he's got to go a bit slower with that thing.
Well, the rear tyre of that is absolutely shot. David Bernard just had to fight it to get around that corner.
Continue behind the safety car. There's Tony Longhurst out of the Rod Nash Racing. Big slaps on the back for the Kmart team.
Because Greg Murphy has taken out this race victory. Russell Ingall and Mark Scaife will fill positions 2 and 3. Now, the reason why the safety car went out and then the red flag came out is because of a series of events that started with Tony Longhurst really having a heavy dent. Watch him here. He gets tangled up with a Shell Helix car and ends up smack bang into the wall on the driver's side.
Good old wallop as well.
The mirror went, and so did Longhurst's hopes. From the other angle on the Shell Helix replay, you just see they got spin around, and that's a big time shunt into the wall. So that's what started the series of events. There was a couple of others as well. Stephen Richards got spun around. He managed to get himself out of trouble there. So
sideways as he comes out of turn 2. There's trouble in the middle of the pack here.
McDougall's gone off. Jason Richards managed to get around on the outside, and John Bower's pointing the wrong way again. Spins it around, and out comes Stephen Richards, who had a pit start. So Bower has gone right back.
Still a couple of cars sitting off the side of the track there too. So a bit of drama there at turn 2 as they flick through. It's a big ask. Big V8 supercars weaving their way through a very narrow strip of bitumen. Here we are back at the lead of the race. Looks like a relatively clean start in the front of the pack.
The big winner out of that, of course, was Russell Ingall. He's leading through Greg Murphy. Then Mark Scaife and Jason Bright right up against each other. Marcus Ambrose slots in behind him. A Valvoline Cummins Commodore in there as well, and Paul Morris is behind them.
Plenty of push and shove here from the Holden Racing Team GOC. Mark Scaife just sniffing up the inside of Jason Bright there in turn 9. He wants to get a move on every position critical here with Marcus Ambrose absolutely giving him everything behind in the Pertec Falcon. Great shot from the cherry picker there as the field worked their way up toward turns 11 and 12. And Russell Ingall taking advantage of that brilliant start.
It's going to be interesting to see Ambrose with his full 8 cylinders. So he had an inlet and an exhaust manifold crack, and it was probably due to where, remember, he went off, he went through all the water, and the water on the red hot or white hot exhaust manifold would certainly break it.
After all the discussion about weather in the last day and a half, we've actually ended up with a very pleasant afternoon here, and short sleeves on the way to the commentary box, so it's beautiful. So hopefully everybody will stay on board, stay on the black stuff. Here's the replay, the Shell Helix replay of the start, and that's looking sideways from Russell Ingall's Castrol Commodore as he takes his preferred racing line into turn 1. There's Murph. Up on the outside of him, Jason Bright and Mark Scaife. And here's the nonsense through turn 2.
Well, David Bernard went off there as well. So McDougall, David Bernard and John Bower all caught in trouble. Jason Richards, who's just made a mastery of getting around trouble here, has got out of it again.
John Faulkner may have come into contact with the back of McDougall's car. I don't know. There was a lot of people leaning on each other. Pretty hectic moment there.
Next one when Marcus Ambrose, massive.
That's
Massive impact from Cameron McConville upside down.
That'll be a start the car
That's
out.
down at turn 4, which is the old turn 2 at the bottom of the hill down there. So it's tripped over in a big way.
Well, it's caught out Jason Richards. It's caught out Tony Longhurst, and now poor old Cameron McConville.
I want to try and get it up right in case the thing catches fire. Oh no, it's okay. That's good.
Safety car is on the circuit. The SC boards and the yellow flags waving furiously. Good to see Cam getting out okay.
That's the only trouble with that really soft stand stuff, because basically the car sticks 2 wheels in it going sideways and he just flips it straight over.
Now we're just wondering whether Larry Perkinson's there. We're just wondering whether Garth Tander got into pit lane before that. So Tander just got in before the safety car was shown.
Wow.
So that's a brilliant bit of fortune for the Valvoline team. He's come out just behind Marcus Ambrose, I think.
Yes, he has.
Yep. So he has got a net gain from that. Boy, that's cutting it close.
Well, the good news is that Cameron McConville is all right. Got himself out of that car. That was big time.
What happened? We'll see what happens here.
Oh, he's run wide. Oh, he's just pitched it into the sand. Watch this. Just dug in.
And that's right.
Oh, no, on the fence. Very gentle rollover.
Why did that start, though? I'm not totally clear on.
Yeah, it started very early.
Yeah,
didn't
did he did he get out there on his own, or did he get a helping hand?
No, there was no contact with any other car. He just ran offline and. Watch this again.
Oh, you got the left rear on the grass.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it just looked a little bit strange.
Yeah, it's really weird the way.
Yeah, how unlucky is that?
Yeah.
And out of all of it, the roll was probably the softest part.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, not quite sure looking at that replay. Just couldn't see whether that left rear tyre was deflating or not. All that happened very quickly.
One of the members of the team paying close attention to that replay is Trevor Ashby. Trev, have you spoken to Cameron? How is he?
No, I haven't spoken to him at all, but we actually saw him on television get out of the car, and he's walking around, and I'm sure he's okay.
Now, it's not a nice thing to have happen, but the upside for Cameron on this is that that's your car that you're going to have for Bathurst. He's got the new one.
It is, yeah. I know Steve will be sitting at home thinking, geez, that's our car, Trev, and what have you done? But, yeah, Cameron's got a nice new one back at the workshop all ready to go, so, yeah, Steve and I will be into that one.
Lucky it's only a light roll.
Well, it's a light roll, and it's going to keep Lancevale Smash Repairs pretty busy for the next week or so, but, yeah, it looked very light roll, just flicked over at the last minute.
It had been going well up until then, hadn't it?
Look, yeah, the car is, we've found the speed in the car the last few meetings, and we've been very happy with the pace, and there's a couple of little things we have to put together. A slight off like that can happen, and you know, it won't put us back at all.
We'll see you at the mountain for the big one.
Thanks, Greg, we'll be there.
Sideways under brakes into turn 7.
I think Jason Bright might have lost something off his car there. Something red definitely flew off the side of the track.
Oh, look!
Where does he go?
Looks like he's taken out Garth Tander.
That's definitely has.
So, all sorts of drama there. Up the top part of the circuit, Garth Tander has paid a heavy price. Jason Bright, little tap just at the critical part of the turn. Back to Jason Bright, Todd Kelly soldering on in the Kmart car. Paul Radisich has a sniff up the inside.
Gets it.
Todd Kelly, is he coming into the pits?
No,
he is. So Todd Kelly peeling off. Smoke pouring from the car. Maybe there's a terminal problem with that as a result of that damage. Not sure. He's pulled out.
Way here the other day in his hire car, he just about lost the place. He couldn't find it.
Oh yeah, he flew past. He
went
phoned the
past.
Stone Brothers from the McDonald's up the road and said, "Have I passed it?"
Oh, look at this battle a bit further back in the pack. Shell Helix replay.
Oh,
Just a sail.
How rough and tough it is in the middle of this order. This is Mark Larkham, John Bow, Larry Perkins fighting over 13th, 14th, 15th place.
Mark Larkham.
And Larkham's paid the price. He's well and truly beached there. It's like quicksand, that stuff. It just swallows up a 1,350 kilo V8 supercar.
Oh boy, and that's over there, and that's
over at
safety
turn 2
car
again.
city, isn't it? Really.
Turn 4, the old turn 2 on Winton.
Yep.
So this is where Cameron McConville had that roll only a few laps ago. So it's catching so many cars this weekend.
Caught out Tony Longhurst, caught out Jason Richards. Now it's got Mark Larkham in the sand and in the trap, and he's definitely not going to get out of that. Well, the car isn't anyway.
Larry.
A little bit of contact with Larry Perkins.
Now look at this. He was lucky not to. Oh.
Well, I tell you what, at least for Mark Larkham, he went in a different way to the other 4 cars that's gone there before him. He actually crisscrossed the track on that turn.
This is coming out of turn 3. Now this is on the approach to turn 4. Watch this.
Ding.
Oh, Larry turned him around.
Well, Did he jump or was he pushed? Well, the answer was he was pushed.
So in the kitty litter, Mark Larkham.
He's just under threat a little bit more from Marcus, and that's meant that he's just lost touch slightly. Oh, Bernard's turned Brad Jones around.
There's all sorts of elbow to elbow stuff here. Here's another view. Car's getting turned around with incredible regularity here.
Brad Jones certainly wasn't happy.
Through next gear. That's the way those gearboxes work the best. Oh, we've got a car in trouble here.
Who's that?
That's the Brock car.
James Brock.
He's gone straight on where Thomas Mazira did several years ago. That's down at the Auto Vitel Chase.
That's going to be a safety car.
It would have to be a safety car. Here's a Shell Helix replay.
Lock up, major lock up there.
That looks like a blown tyre, blown front tyre.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
On the right side, because look at it flapping around.
Yeah.
You're right.
James Brock in all sorts of trouble, but isn't it great? They've got that massive sand trap there to arrest cars going at enormous speed.
The Shell boards there. We see the Romano car. Is someone in trouble here? Whoa, this is the Donaher entry. Donaher and Leighton Cranbrook.
Can he get out?
And that's Mick's second spin for the day. Real as he climbs Mountain Straight. Look at this. This is obviously an incident from before. This is what it was. Wow.
That's Paul Morris who just went up there.
Front of the car as it comes over those bumps under brakes. Look at the Shell Helix replay. Just a bit of a disagreement or misunderstanding there. Paul Morris got the dirty end of the stick there. Just managed to keep it off the concrete walls.
Here is an earlier bump. This is coming down into the elbow, I think it is. And look at watch Lowndes. This is where he serves up Radicic. Just lets him know, hey, I'm here, and I'm ready to have a go. And that eventuated down into Murray's. Watch it again.
This was really lucky. Right, have a good look at this, right?
Well, I think Craig, you can look at how much lock he's got on the wheels there. Just that Radicic
did a good job there.
Didn't want to pull the nose out of the battle, and he managed to keep it off the fence. Let's have a look at this from the top.
When you look at it, Lowndes takes the natural racing line anyway, and it's just that Paul kept in the throttle and then eventually ran out of road.
Did a real good job there. Houdini job.
And some ominous words. They said, oh, Marcus Ambrose. He's gone off in the pit entry. The pole sitter. What a nightmare start after such a fabulous day yesterday. And problems here with the Valvoline Cummins car.
That's right, guys. Let's reverse.
They cannot get it started. Trying to push start it. Jason Bhagwan away though. He's managed to get the car fired up, but that's very hard pushing that car uphill. It's all happening here. Marcus Ambrose has come off. Just can't imagine what's happened there to come off on the pit entry road. There he is behind the rescue vehicle.
Well, look, if you look at
he's in the sand. He's gone right off into the bunker.
That is a bizarre error. Well, whether something's happened with the front end of the car, or I mean, that's very uncharacteristic of Marcus.
Safety car is on the circuit, so we've got our first safety car period in the V8 Supercar 1000.
Marcus Ambrose frantically trying to do everything he can.
Under safety car. Can you say under safety car? Yes, in this lap. We are going to change the spoiler.
Okay, so the
Loosen your belt.
Gibson Motorsport team telling Lowndes to come in. They're going to fix it. Meanwhile, Marcus Ambrose, how frustrating would this be?
And there was double radio communication there. Ambrose saying, sorry, guys, I'm so sorry.
Shh. You can hear him breathing. Let's have a look at the replay. What's he done here?
He's just come in too hot.
Looks like it. He's gone right across the grass. Ended up in the kitty litter.
He's come in simply too hot on pit road. And that is a very uncharacteristic error of Marcus Ambrose. Someone has stopped down there at Aussie Mail elbow. They have come to a stop. That's the Bud car, yeah.
From the height, it looked like an HRT.
We saw him sneak past. This might give us insight. Oh no,
he's hit the Bud car.
Oh! Mark Noski.
And that's what sent them around backwards into the Aussie Mail elbow. Look at this, no space, nowhere to go.
Not watching where he was going.
I don't think Noski knew he was there.
No,
did not see.
They're not in this front battle. Oh, there's been a big crash. That's the Donaher Cranbrook entry.
John Faulkner.
And John Faulkner and Dulman. That is massive. That's just on top of the mountain.
What did I say about the restart, fellas? Yeah. Happens so often.
Oh, look at this. That's Romano.
Down the lines, car involved. Gary Holt as well. erupting. Any more going to crash on this lap? This is incredible.
That's 4 cars that have been damaged on that restart. Mick Donoher. Boy, it's been an eventful day for Mick. He went off the circuit at the last corner, last lap. Romano and Kelly trying to keep that car under control. Unbelievable. And naturally, the safety car out on the circuit again for the 2nd time in a short time.
Oh, there's another one stranded. Oh, that's Gary Holt. I thought that might have been another car. So they've got cars, wrecks sitting all over the track. Here's one of them, the Dulman-Faulkner Dynapack entry. Dynapack coming on board this weekend with the John Faulkner team. Ultra-tuned car in trouble as well. Let's have a look and see if we can piece this together on the Shell Helix replay. There's Faulkner. What happens here?
Looking back from Wayne Wakefield, and Faulkner's taken evasive action.
Oh, yeah, evasive action. Poor old Faulkner was played a part in the accident. And
he would have been caught out by that because he wouldn't have seen it coming.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been just behind, wouldn't it?
And it was Dulman that was in the car. Donoher looked like he lost that just all by himself. Now watch that. Oh, the toll car squeezes through. And look at that. One of the FTR cars has been damaged. That was Romano slamming into that. One of the Lansvale cars goes the high side. And watch for Faulkner. Watch for Faulkner.
Oh, dear me.
Unbelievable. They almost all got through, and it was Peter Dulman behind the wheel. The 46 Faulkner Dulman entry. There's Gary Holt. He's okay. And the Romano team go into action. The Holden Young Lions entry. 2 of their team just stood on the bottom. Look at that. Looks like World Wrestling. Slamming it down.
Sledgehammer out now. See this in NASCAR racing
they
quite
can
often.
do a sledgehammer in wrestling
Are
sometimes.
they going to try and rip this front guard off or tape it on? They've got the magic tape out now. So this car will just be taped together, try and get it back into the race. Don't go down any more positions. But it happens so often on the restart. Everyone gets all pumped up, all excited. The cars aren't up to their optimum condition. And you usually have some sort of an accident.
Look at that, you can hear someone keep us posted where the safety car is. They're trying not to go down a lap.
Yeah, what they'll try and do is see a number of teams do this before, bring him in, do a bit of work on the car, get him out before the safety car comes around. They can do that lap after lap if they have to.
210s. Quite extraordinary stuff. There's Cat Racing. Oh, that's Trat. Trat coming into contact with Wills. Simon recovering. We hope there's not too much damage there. On the grass, trying to get back on track. It's far from clear and simple at Mount Panorama right now. Trat, though, is in big trouble. What a drive from he in the combination with Alan Jones, but there's the damage on the right front. Doesn't look too bad at this stage.
I think you'll find out it is quite bad, Billy, as they come across. Simon will have to do another lap, and it's rubbing, and he will have to slow right down and limp around before he can get back into pit lane, and just too anxious, too enthusiastic, and there will be a safety car, and that is such a shame because Anthony Tratt had just got past Larry Perkins. He was sitting in 7th position, and Simon Wills, who was just setting the track on fire. That was a little bit of a silly mistake. Let's try and tune into the team radio.
I'm really sorry, guys. The pedals just went
Speed up, even though the safety car's coming out. Need to speed up. You've got to speed all the way up till you get to the pit exit.
Here's Simon Wills there saying, I'm really sorry, guys, admitting that it was his fault, but said something about the pedal. We're joined by pole sitter and now the man who was forced to watch it from the sidelines, Marcus Ambrose. What did you make of that, Marcus?
I haven't really seen it properly, so I'll wait and see. I've had a few run-ins with Trent over the year, so he seems to be in trouble quite a bit.
Here we go, let's take a look. Wills going for the inside, and I think that was just an over-ambitious move from Simon, perhaps. That's the way it looked, and both cars were in the top 10. Here it is from a different angle. This is on board with Simon Wills. Larry Perkins is the piggy in the middle. Watch this. He goes for one and tries to make it a slingshot double move, all in the one action.
Yep, oof. And there goes Anthony Tratt off into the kitty litter. Wills spins as well. Fortunately, got back.
Already happened. There has been, mayhem on the circuit. Well, I said so much has already happened. Safety car out.
Well, this is up, just coming into the Ford cutting, and looks like the Andrew Harris car is in trouble there. Here comes race leader Craig Lowndes, picks his way through there. Here comes Murphy and Scaife. Fortunately, the Harris car has managed to get going. I think the Waihoon Salmon car is still stuck there.
On skate, the top four. Here's a replay. This is the Craig Harris car. Gets out a little wide, and that's where it all went wrong.
Craig Harris, Michael Simpson car. We're just checking who's driving the car at the moment. It is Michael Simpson, the Queenslander.
He just remains very calm.
Oh, that was close.
I think this is the collision, the Shell Helix replay of the collision. Maybe they just avoid. I thought I could squeeze through there, but maybe not. Do it again.
Oh, no, it's
That's up on top of the mountain. I think that's just coming over McPhillamy Park. Oh, problems here for Larkham.
Is that the Gibson car?
That's Lowndes.
Lowndes is in the wall.
No.
Lowndes has gone into
Forest
Look at
Elbow.
this. Look at that.
on the exit to Forest Elbow. Can you believe it? The race leader.
And that is not the first time that's happened to Neil Crompton. When he and Wayne Gardner were leading before, that's exactly where they crashed out. They're going off everywhere. That's a Ricky Adello Nash entry.
Safety car is on the circuit, not surprisingly. Now, Craig Lowndes has gone into a tyre barrier there. He hasn't hit the concrete, I don't think. He's just dislodged. Haviland car, there's going to be cars spearing off all over the place. There's still going to be a few more, I reckon.
And you see, this is what I was saying when you're going up the mountain. If it was as wet as this when you got to the top of the mountain, you could have a horrific break.
Well, it just goes to show the Haviland car was caught out. Probably what caught Lowndes out as well. Now, Lowndes, I can't quite see there whether he's managed to back out of there, but he actually drilled the tyre wall.
Now that is, they're going thinking, oh, well, he's going that speed, so I can go that speed, and both go off together.
No, he's still in there.
Stuck in there. Craig Lowndes in the Gibson Motorsport Ford. You're looking at your race leader, or he was the race leader, crunched into the Aussie Mail elbow.
How would you feel? How would you feel?
So, the way it is, just wheel spin.
Yes. Until someone tows me backwards, I'll be able to drive it back.
He's feeling vulnerable there.
Tander's
Problems
gone
here
off
for
as well.
Tander and Bargwana. Everyone's losing it down at the elbow. So this car's spearing off every direction.
Well, here's a replay, a Shell Helix replay of Gibson Motorsports. Craig Lowndes, watch to the top of your screen, trying to pull it up, and crunch.
Well, that car doesn't look very badly damaged at all. Look, if he can get out, let's see the wheel spin. He just can't back the car out.
That's what he was saying. It was just spinning.
Neil Crompton, we're just watching the replay there. It looks as though he's gone in, but the main problem seems to be just backing the car out. It doesn't seem to be too bad, the damage.
No, I suspect that the Forest Elbow there's a lot of tyres with the rubber belt round the outside. Obviously, we can't see the front of the car, and I've not really seen what's happened, but maybe you need to rock the car sometimes to be able to engage reverse gear, so there's a problem there that, yeah, obviously disappointing and frustrating considering our pace.
Yeah, certainly it was going so well, Neil. It's a real shame for you.
It's unbelievable, Rusty. 3 times I've stood out here for a driver change when we've been leading a race thinking, oh, be a beauty, and it hasn't quite worked for some reason, so maybe I just should stay inside for a while.
Hard luck. At least he's laughing, guys.
Oh, imagine the disappointment. He's used to the disappointment. Crompton's had an enormous number of disappointments at Mount Panorama. One of the fastest men ever around this daunting circuit, and luck just does not fall his way.
There is damage, so much damage down there in pit lane. This is the Haviland Ford. Matthew White, David Bernard.
You could just see a classic example.
Back on it, but give the wheels a shake in the front. And someone line up the wheel alignment, please. Just check the wheel alignment.
So there's all sorts of damage. You can hear that. People calling for wheel alignments, panel repairs, and all sorts of stuff. Just chaos erupted on Mount Panorama just a few seconds ago when the rain came down. Everyone on slick tyres. The car started to aquaplane. And we lost something like a dozen cars.
Hold the wheel straight, please, Wayne.
Larkham's out of the car. Wayne is in the car. They're asking him to hold the steering wheel straight. Grant?
Yeah, down here, despite the chaos across the top of the mountain and the incidents, the gamble is you just can't put wet tyres on. Continually, it's rewarding those who are staying on slicks. Again, it's still dry down here. So now, obviously, the Larkham and Gardner car, they're just trying to fix, it looks like a steering problem. It looks like they've bent the steering arms there. They're now about to drop and send him back out. So hopefully this is not going to put them back too far.
And again, the rain down here stops. The wind continues. Bargwana is in the 34 Valvoline Cummins Commodore. He begins his second stint of the day.
Speed limit was the cry. They've already been pinged for speeding in pit lane earlier in the race. They don't want it again.
It wasn't a cry so much as a plea, was it?
Oh, they've ruptured the fuel tank here.
God.
He's hit the wall so hard. Those cars have a aircraft grade leak-proof bladder inside the tank. But sometimes you can hit them so hard you even have a problem there.
And this is played into the hands of the Aussie male Falcon. Brad Jones has now moved up to 3rd place. It's Murphy, Scaife, Jones, Ingle and Canto, top 5. This is Garth Tander. Watching the Lowndes car is off to the right-hand side on the grass. Well, that was almost...
Just as well they put those tyres there.
Do you remember a few years ago when Gardner and Crompton were leading? Gardner stopped there and Larkham slammed into him. It was almost a repeat of that.
There we go, the Caterpillar Ford just disappearing out of shot. What's here? Okay, this is the moment on top with the Terry Y. Hearn Rod Salmon machine. Oh, wow, didn't he drill that bank?
That's a big contact.
That's a big hit.
Oh, he got it going.
He's got it going, but he's dropped, I think, 2 laps. Maybe 2, maybe 3 laps.
The wheel's stuck
in there.
Not too much damage to it.
Oh, there we go. Got a tyre rubbing down.
Straight. Steering wheel is straight. There's a lot of smoke coming in the car.
He's just saying that the steering wheel is straight, so it's obviously just pushed the front bar onto that right front wheel.
Shaking the steering wheel.
2 laps to go. 72 laps to go.
2 laps down he is. We've just checked on our lap board, so...
Mate, it's just not Ford's track, is it?
No, it's amazing how this one said still.
Before it's Falcon, unbelievable, isn't it?
It is. It is.
What a comeback for Team Kiwi. Jason Richards, God, it's just been such a long night for you having to rebuild that car after a crash yesterday. Now you're in such a top position.
That's right, we're in 13th
place, and that's awesome. Car's not as good as it was yesterday. I think we've got a dud left shock, but apart from that, hey, we're 13th, and we've come from the back of the grid. We're even worse from pit lane, and absolutely, I'm stuck for words, really. The guys have done an awesome job. They're getting a bit sleepy in the workshop. They keep nodding off, so I've got to give them a whack and keep them awake.
It really is a place for the brave at the moment, isn't this? Weather just keeps coming and going. You don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, obviously that's been something which we've been good at. Angus and I keeping out of trouble today, and it's paying off, and I think we can get into the top 10.
That'd be great to see. Good luck, and well done on the effort rebuilding the car last night too.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to TAFE and of course our crew. They've done a fantastic job.
Thanks, Jason.
How many times here at the mountain have those TAFE boys got someone out of a sticky situation? They are heroes, and Fogg and Richards will be national heroes when we go to Pukekohe for the second last round of this year's Shell Championship Series, the 9th to the 11th of November. We hear that they have pre-sold something like 31,000 tickets. That's an amazing effort.
Incredible. Steve, you said when you got out of the car you felt like you could do another sort of stint on that. That's because you had such a relaxing drive down here, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, thanks for that, Bazza. Yeah, I actually had a bit of a team bonding thing, came down the bus with all the boys, and as you can imagine, I did not drink 1 drop of alcohol.
But that'll be rectified tonight.
No, that wasn't what you told me before.
Leapfrog their way up to the...
Oh, no!
Team Kiwi. Oh, going so well.
They're up to 12th.
Another safety car, we believe. So that will bunch things up. Here is the replay as to why. And that's quite a common problem at Cougar Corner. We've certainly seen that over the years.
Angus Fogg at the wheel, and unfortunately Angus was the man who backed it in.
And that's why it is part of the championship.
Oh, the Larkham Gardner Falcon is up against the wall.
Yeah, having a terrible day. They're a long, long, long way down the order. But now they're stranded there at the Ford cutting.
Oh, boy, front right.
Got a puncture big time.
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh,
didn't hit too hard.
It's a rotten bit of luck for Larkham. Just have another look at that from another angle.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Safety car is on the circuit, as we expected. So
imagine you'll see maybe Brighton Bargwana come in. There's Brighty in the pits. I think he's coming in now. So it's pretty fortuitous for him to get another safety car to be able to pit, because he'll be...
They've turned up with a brand new car. Oh, smack the difference about this. Here's problems here for the Castrol Ford. We're going to have a safety car out here, and we're going to bunch the field up once again. He's well and truly smacked the concrete wall. Look at the damage on the front of the car. Harris and Simpson, one of the sole surviving cars from the Conacher entries. So here comes Stephen Richards, trying to catch up to the safety car. Leading this one, Todd Kelly in second, Greg Ritter in third. Just be amazed to see people are trying to slap contracts on Greg Ritter. Man, he's just been in obscurity since he won the Formula Ford title.
Yeah.
No, his old safety car.
Been snapped up by a leading team and been able to show what he can really do.
I said to him at the Queensland 500, I said, oh, great to see you again, Greg. You know, what's been happening? What are you doing Monday to Friday? Because he's a plasterer by trade. And he said, oh, I'm just doing bits and bobs. I'm doing some plastering. I'm helping my brother Michael Ritter, who prepares Formula Fords. He said, I'm just doing whatever, you know, past the time go by. Dick Johnson's given him a call, said, how would you like to drive in the 2 end-of-year Enduros? And he has done nothing but solidly impress. Another email for you, Mark Larkham, from Samantha Brooking of Cairns in Queensland. If you could have any co-driver, times winner, and he says, I've got you. On the outside, but Kelly held his own. They went side by side through the kick. Perkins tried to outbrake him. Then Kelly responded.
Watch, look, wet.
Off went Richards, off went Kelly. Kelly spun, trying to get back onto the circuit. Perkins took the lead, and then all hell broke loose. Watch in the background as the Cat Ford goes off, and then the number 2 HRT Commodore of Jason Bright. They were scattering like flies. There was another one still to come, and that was the Toll IPEC Ford. Unbelievable. We believe the report was there was a patch of hail only in around the chase.
Now, a lot of cars are coming in for that final stop. They've taken advantage of the safety car period, and here it is, Larry Perkins. The amount of speed the veteran was showing. Now, apparently, Larry had a bit of a crash coming into the pit lane entry, and look at the damage on the front of the car. So hopefully they can get the guard away from the tyre and get him back into the race.
Yes, guys, the front of the car is an absolute mess. Would you believe it? He inherited the lead, come into pit lane and had an accident. Now, the front of the car is quite dashed. They're trying to push the guard off the front wheel. Now they'll go out. The crew reacted very well. Now, this is the time when things must go right for Larry Perkins if he's going to win this race.
Well, Larry's dug deep. Let's have a look at the replay of what happened. Well, the road was slippery and voila. Woof. Oh. Known to be more thirsty than the Commodores. Let's have a look at this incident again. This is from the back of Todd Kelly's car. Oh, look at that. Oh. Todd tried to get it back onto the bitumen, but then he just lost it as the car came over the curbs. Very lucky not to get T-boned by the following cars. Absolute mayhem.
And if you need proof, as we watch from another angle, this is on board Larry Perkins looking out the side. He thought he may have had enough to get Todd Kelly. It came down to a braking duel. He pulled up alongside the 21-year-old, and Kelly did a good job under brakes. Larry decided to pull in and was very fortunate not to get hit from behind. Watch out to the right. Stephen Richards goes off. Todd Kelly goes off, and Larry says, thanks very much.
I think you'll find that Larry's, when he was braking, he saw the wet at the end of the road and just gave up. Well, gave into. Whoa, dear me!
See how close that
was? Could have been one of the 1/6.
Yeah, good job from Stephen. Well done.
Yeah, really.
The 2 times Bathurst winner. And if you need proof that
that's your top 10, and problems here for the Gibson Motorsport Falcon. Smoke belching from that front right wheel. So they really have had a troublesome run. Not destined to win the race today. Neil Crompton and Craig Lowndes.
Here's a replay of the incident. This is the super cheap auto car. The Gibson Motorsport car up front.
So Steve Mallory decided to give me a nice couple of touches in the rear end, and I've hit the wall with the nose of the car.
What Steve was doing up there, that part of the circuit, but the Gibson Motorsport cars paid the price. Big crunch there for Craig Lowndes. Got to try and limp it back to pit lane.
It'll be interesting to see what
2:10.6 for Bradley. So Scaife's not backing off at all. If he has got a fuel problem, he's certainly not showing it.
What have we got here? Oh, look at this.
Collision between the Lansvale Commodore.
Ashby and Reed going round on the exit of the elbow, and that's a shame because they were running in 11th position when that happened. And it looks makes an inside move up into the Lowndes has been turned around, and it was Seaton involved in that. The 2 shell cars collide. Wow.
Oh dear me, I don't know what happened there. It just looks like there was either a brake failure or a brain failure or something. It's very, very quick into that, Neil, wasn't it?
Well, I'd certainly love to see more of that. One of the Kmart cars involved, that's Todd Kelly. So one of the Shell cars just heaving tyre smoke everywhere, and that's Radisich. It's the front left on that car. And I was about to say that I expected to see some chaos going into the hairpin, but not to that extent.
Paul Radisich, massive amounts of smoke billowing from the front left of that. Action on the opening lap of 36, and look at Glenn Seaton's FTR Ford.
Yeah, innocent victim in that. It all happened so quickly. Keep in mind, they're closing from enormous speed to a very low speed at the end of that straight.
Laurie, and the boys are down here at the moment. Look at the damage to the front of the FTR4. They've ripped the bumper off it, and as you can see, a lot of damage from that collision for Glenn Seaton. He's going to lose a lot of time in pit lane here. As Greg Murphy returns to the front straight, he's already a lap down.
Pretty catastrophic for Seaton and the FTR team, because once you go a lap down here, you're in terrible trouble. And it's such a short lap in terms of time interval. It's only a 57-second lap, and there's Craig Lowndes and the Gibson Motorsport team, and they've got the knockometers out, and they're doing anything but gentle wheel alignment there.
After starting from 6th on the grid and being rather optimistic, that's where Craig Lowndes sits. Here's the Shell Helix replay. Take a look.
Well, we're seeing... No, he was
got a punt up the back.
He was pushed by the look of it. I think it was
Brighty, was it?
And that's turned him around, and then Seaton was an innocent victim.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, was Jason also pushed? This is on board with Lowndes. Turn 5, the hairpin. All of a sudden, that launches him into Kelly.
Well, look at this chaos break out behind. There's Seaton. That's all the damage. Seaton got hit up the backside as well, trying to avoid that one. Bright's out on the grass. Let's have a look at it from another angle.
I wonder if Jason got his other bump.
That was a hard hit.
And Ingle was caught up in it. Bernard is caught up in it.
Onto the back straight. Here's a replay. This is Brad Jones getting tangled up on the opening lap by the looks of things as well, being turned around.
Oh, Mazzero.
There. Thomas Mazzero, evasive action. And it's been a real troublesome weekend for Brad Jones, suffering with an injured back. Let's see what we can make of it from this angle.
And he was given a helping hand too, so it seems.
Paul Romano.
Romano. Oh, yeah, definitely. 100% there.
Keep in mind on Jason Richards too, because the Team Kiwi driver is up to 4th out right now as a result of those early stops.
And we understand that Paul Romano has been given a stop-go for that incident, the rundown. And keep in mind, some have pitted, some haven't. It's Murphy, Perkins, Ingle, Richards, Johnson.
And it's real close between Murphy and Ambrose, and I think Murphy's actually rounded him up.
Got him.
So that's not good news for Ambrose. Remember that Marcus went out on cold tyres and Greg had the benefit of warm tyres, and that's what's made the difference.
The Kmart Racing team tell me that Greg Murphy is coming in this lap, guys, so Murph is on his way in.
Jason Bright just emerged from the pit lane. There's a lot of cars. Todd Kelly.
The danger, of course, there was that if the sun...
Underneath the car, that is now extinguished. He will play no more part in this race. Bernard also involved in more melee as well. Major damage front left corner of that car.
More action on the track too. Angus Fogg in the 777 Team Kiwi machine lights it up after turning around. He was involved with someone else there. Couldn't quite see who it was. And we saw David Bernard coming around on the inside of the circuit also earlier.
Oh.
He's been having a shocking weekend,
John
Angus Fogg.
2 Kiwis there.
He's got to get the hang of dumping the clutch and spinning it around.
Let's have a look at that from another angle. Faulkner
Poor old
and
Faulkner,
Angus
he
Fogg.
doesn't get a lot of luck, does he?
So, meanwhile, Greg Murphy rejoined that race just in front of Scaife. So, by the time these pit stops...
The Holden hairpin, here's the replay. What can we make of this? Marcus Ambrose going through on the inside of Russell Ingle. And Brian tries to squeeze through as well.
That's really bad for Russell Ingle.
Yeah, it is.
And perfect for Mark Scaife.
Remember, those two are actually competing for minor
points,
positions in the championship at the moment.
Oh, look at the rain now.
Well, that smoke must have been from that front.
Hang on, what's happened here?
He can't get around. He can't get around. Yeah.
That smoke must have been coming from a front right tyre rubbing against the guard.
It's going to get fun and games now. Look at the circuit now.
Oh, yeah, it's wet now.
It's definitely wet.
Now it is time for wet. So the worst thing for Simon Wills there was...
Exactly week. So this is the first time Anthony Tratt in the Toll IPEC Ford. He's come off at Holden hairpin. It's caught a number of competitors out today. Very easy to misjudge your braking coming from a high speed to a very low speed corner, particularly in these conditions.
Similar conditions to the Queensland 500 where they were sliding everywhere. As you can see, there's 6 laps to run here at Pukekohe.
We'll bring you up to date. Oh, Team Kiwi, Angus Fogg in trouble again.
Now this may produce a red flag too.
75% of race distance completed.
And I understand that Murphy's stop was effective, and he's actually managed to come out in front of Scaife, even though he had to do that extra sort of half lap, if you like, on a wet track with slicks. It was still enough pace to keep him in position. There's
front of Scaife and Ambrose.
Yes.
That's in a very precarious position there, Neil. I'm sure you'd agree. That's right at the end of the back straight, huh?
Yeah, difficult spot. And in these conditions, the race director will be well aware that other people could end up in there and slam into that car. So there'll be some discussion in race control at the moment as to whether or not that red flag should be brought out.
Tell you what, if they hold out the red flag now, this falls into Mark Markham's lap. He's still out there on slick tyres. And I was going to say Paul Morris was the other guy out on slick tyres.
Dear me.
But he's just paid the price of staying on the slicks. Look at the damage on the Big Kev car. Had a monster crash earlier in the week. They've managed to get the car repaired, and once again he's tasted the Armco.
Here's the Shell Helix replay. Watch this.
This is
The Lowndes goes through on the inside.
Oh, well, that was where we were talking about.
He was, right where you were talking about, Barry, and he ended up out of the wheel tracks. That was the problem there. And on that surface to the outside, the car just takes off, and he was a passenger.
And there is Terry Morris and the team. Paul Morris is 51. The Kmart Commodore Larkham's
Oh, he's had a bit of a shunt as well. Well, that corner must be carrying a lot of water, because that's exactly where Morris went off the previous lap.
And that's really in a dangerous place there.
Oh, once you get those slick tyres up on that body of water, you're gone.
Larkham out of the car. And
Simon Wells.
Caterpillar Ford's drilled the gravel trap.
Maybe get a safety car for that.
Yeah, this could be a safety car situation.
Smoking up the inside just took me out big time. Yeah, I got past him on the run down there, and then next thing I know, it was
Todd Kelly, Larry Perkins, Brad Jones and John Faulkner yet to make their stops. Here's an incident down at the end with David Bernard again.
Poor Wheel.
Leaning on the back.
Shame. Wheel had a good run in the first race.
The second race, he had a great race.
No,
Finished 11th,
second race, rather.
Very happy person today. Cameron McConville is out. That's the end of the day at Pukekohe. And there's substantial damage to the front left.
Look at that front left suspension. Very badly mangled. He's run right along the fence line or something. Not a good day for the Lansvale team. Let's have a look at this on the replay.
Oh, he's given the outside fence a big wallop. Actually not far from where we're sitting, guys.
Yeah,
yep,
just run. Just down below our commentary box. So he's given it a real pasting on that Armco. And the Lansvale Smash Repairs team out of the race.
Now, I think we've gone full course yellow.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough year for the Lansvale Smash team. Just had a word to team boss Wally Story. He tells me Cam's not quite sure what happened. He believes a tyre may have blown, and that's what sent him spearing off the track.
Race to the flag.
Oof, look at this in real speed. 200 kilometres an hour through that sweeper. Deceptively.
Melbourne Victoria. He's the class of the field, and he has one last challenge this weekend. That's to get past Greg Murphy and spoil the party for the Kmart racer.
You guys can probably see here the Cat Racing team. Obviously the disappointment with Simon Wills, they're packing up, but spare a thought for the crews tonight. They've got a very long night ahead of them, packing up all the equipment, making sure it's very clean to comply with customs before these cars and the equipment go back on the boats, back to Australia for Sandown.
That's right, the work's not done for 2001. 3 weeks' time is the big one at Sandown, the final round of the 2001 championship. There's Les Laidlaw looking at his very much damaged Cat Ford.
Just to expand on that, it takes just on a week for the cars to get back by boat to Brisbane, and then obviously they disperse to their various corners of the country. But because of agricultural rules here, they've got to make sure that, and particularly keep in mind that we're at a horse racing complex. They're going to remove all dirt and mud from every single bit of gear that is on all the cars and all the support equipment before they go back into the transporters, before they're shipped. And the cars are going to have to be, to some extent, not race prepped, but some of the key work needs to be done.
You can stay up to date with everything in this category. V8supercar.com.au is the official V8 Supercar website. So if you're on the net right now, take a look at dreamdrive.tv as well. Well worth a look, and quite interesting as well. Getting late in the year, but still worth a look. Look at that Lansvale Smash Repairs car. As I mentioned a few moments ago, the V8 Ultimate at Sandown. Looking forward to going back there. It's been a few years since the V8s have visited the Melbourne circuit, and it is the 13th and final round.
We should be in for a Brahma after this. It'll be about, what do you reckon, about 16 laps to run by the time we get rid of the safety car, or 15 laps, and everybody's closed up, so I think we'll have a really good race.
Well, that's never a nice sign.
That thing, Mark, look at it.
Oh, it's just terrible. Imagine what it's like for the mechanics who sweat and toil to turn out a beautiful, clean and well-prepared race car. When you see it come back to the workshop like that, very, very disheartening.
They've just got turned all of a sudden.
Oh,
it was
Tander.
Tander.
Wonder if Longhurst was involved in that. Oh, there goes Angus
look
Fogg
at this.
again. Well, it's not the first time we've seen Angus spin this weekend.
No, he spent plenty of time on the grass.
And he's able to continue, which is good stuff. Now, making light of that other incident, Tander has fallen all the way to 17th position. Longhurst was able to continue. Let's take a look at it. Paul Romano was in the middle of that. And a few of the guys getting through. Longhurst and Lowndes were able to squeeze through.
Have a look at this. You can see the steam coming out of Paul Wheel's K&J Thermal Falcon. The car being put away. Keys Wheel, you are not happy. Tell us why.
Oh, well, it's one of those things, I suppose, in motor racing, but I guess a lot of these so-called level 1 teams can push and shove and punt back markers off the road, and unfortunately when we're punted off the road earlier that we got a front duct full of grass and gravel, so that's what made it overheat, and it's turned our weekend into absolute, as you know what I'm going to say.
Hard luck, Keith.
Thanks.
10 laps remaining for race leader Greg Murphy. Things not looking so good for K&J Thermal. Let's have a look at this incident a bit earlier on with Angus Fogg.
And that was right after Garth Tander had rejoined the circuit. So that was a costly altercation.
These cones, if there's no cones left to touch, they've already been destroyed by everybody else going over them. So if they're going to race as hard as they are now, the officials' eagle eyes are still on that controversial turn 2.
Paul Romano having a spin and getting back greening somewhere.
Here we go. Let's have a replay. This may tell the story. Romano. Oh, this is probably the Romano.
This was the earlier incident. Oh, one of the Valvoline cars. That's Garth Tander.
So Tander tagged the back of Romano.
I wonder if that's a payback for something.
And missed back there.
Oh, it's Larry. Oh, dear me.
That's what I was going to say. You get caught up in that bumper-to-bumper stuff, and usually someone takes a bit of damage on board, and Larry Perkins is the first one to suffer.
So Holden's 1, 2 and 3. The first of the Fords is Lowndes, makes an inside move on Kelly.
Whoa, good
Thank
move.
you. Nice one. Has he overcooked it? Kelly tries to come back. Ambrose is in contention as well.
Side by side, and Kelly cuts across in front of Lowndes. Lowndes wants to argue, though. He comes up the inside under brakes. There could be fisticuffs here. They're side by side. Holden and Ford. Final turn onto the pit straight. Who's going to give way? Kelly on the inside, Lowndes on the outside. They're leaning on each other. Marcus Ambrose wants a slice of the action too. Craig doesn't want to back off, getting up to 200, over 200 kilometres an hour, side by side past the grandstand. And Ambrose has got a great run out of that turn. So Lowndes backs it off a little bit, and Kelly takes that position back.
Safety car is on the circuit.
Oh, okay. All the field's slowing down now, so they've brought the safety car out.
Someone's
look at this.
got a big fire in Larry's car coming off turn 4 onto the back straight, and we've got another car at the end of the back straight with dropping oil and smoke everywhere. So Larry with a big problem there, and I think, yeah, there's the that's the car I was telling you about, the Romano car.
Romano thing.
Look at that, short wheelbase Commodore,
Whoa,
new model unveiled today.
Well, and
downforce
truly
bonnets. That's
damage to a number of Commodores in the pack there. And it was always going to happen. Wet, slippery conditions, tons of spray, everyone pumped up for that first lap. Very rarely you'll get through without any damage.
Wow, what an exciting start. Greg Murphy, the biggest winner. He blasted from 8th up to 2nd and is right there with Mark Scaife. Impressive stuff from his teammate too, Todd Kelly, who was fighting it out. Now watch Murphy, left of screen, the Shell Helix replay right around the outside of Marcus Ambrose. Wraps up Russell Ingall as well. He's side by side with his teammate at the moment. He says, I'll take Craig Lowndes as well. Flip back on the outside of there. And watch Todd Kelly, centre of screen. He'll duck on the inside of the silver and black AU XR8. He comes on the inside of Craig Lowndes. A dynamic start from the Kmart boys.
There was a yellow flag being waved back there on that replay, the Shell Helix replay, so somebody must have stalled back at the back end of the grid at the start of the race as well.
Let's see if we can catch the Perkins incident from this cherry picker shot. Let's see where Larry is. He's a bit further back in the pack. That's his teammate Russell Ingall up ahead. Now where's Larry? There he is.
There's Larry there.
Now watch this.
Around the outside of McConville.
And he's just behind Romano, so it looks like it might have been some sort of...
there you
look at
go.
it. There
Look
were
at that.
6 cars involved in it, 7. Oh, and Larry's already got a fire on board.
McConville avoided that incident, but Larkham was in there, Wheel was in there, Anthony Tratt was involved as well.
The further it gets down, the first one goes through. Oh, look at that. Fire under the back.
This was the fire, the replay of the fire situation. Larry getting out okay, but the marshals were onto it very quickly. And they managed to get that fire doused very quickly with the fire extinguishers. He'll be 5th.
Oh, Stephen Johnson.
He just overtook before the break. You could see him overtake Lowndes there, but he's looks like a major engine failure or something in the Shell car. He's out of this one.
The second half of the year has been frustrating for Steve Johnson, particularly after Bathurst. There was a point where he was in with a chance for the championship, and after the non-finish at the V8 Supercar 1000 at Mount Panorama, it's been a little bit of a downhill slide, but Steve is still the top place Ford driver in the championship.
Behind his teammate. Oh, problems Morris. Here for Morris.
Exit of turn 1.
And he would have had to make 2 stops. He had to come in and do his stop-go penalty, go out and then come in and make his compulsory stop.
The track's now gone to what you'd describe as heavy wet, as Rodney Ford says, a big understeer off at turn 1. It's now heavy wet, and the times have tumbled a couple of seconds accordingly. It really is a very wet track, and very difficult for drivers here to sometimes reset their rhythm.
Jason Bright.
There's more than one car involved in it.
Just go, John Faulkner.
So Faulkner involved with that as well, and there's damage to the front of the Holden Racing Team Commodore. We'll try and get a better look at that. Faulkner had only just made his compulsory stop, one of the last cars to do so, probably the last car in the field to do so. And he's got tangled up with Bright, who'd taken Russell Engel. He's keeping this battle for second in the championship alive. So, damage to the front of the Dynapack Commodore. Let's have a look at the replay, Neil.
Well, John will be on cold tyres or semi-cold tyres, and I think Jason's had a look down the inside but couldn't get it done cleanly. Got a long way up.
He lost the rear of the Holden Racing Team.
Yeah, because John turned in and was heading to the apex, and there's a big tyre bundle there, so there's nowhere to go, so Bright's locked it up. Had a half lose, very little damage, I'd say.
Yeah, doesn't look too bad, does it? Dig your way out of that one, Bazza.
No, it's... Oh, look at this scaife.
Same thing again, same corner.
Same thing again.
Well, he did a very fast lap doing that last time, so maybe that's the hot way through.
What I was trying to say was, basically, you can be in something that is not exactly 100% competitive.
Yes.
2 points for that.
Whoops.
That's Paul Wheel.
That's in a funny
damage
spot.
on the front.
Oh,
at the end of the main straight.
Well, yeah, but it's not where you'd turn in. It's he's actually must have clouded the wall before he got there. He must have had to lose before he got to the corner.
I've seen that plenty of times at Sandown, cars actually getting up on an aquaplane and just taking off.
That's very weird.
Before the cars even reach the braking zone. Well, plenty of damage to the Falcon. Let's have a look at this on the replay.
I reckon he... Oh, did he... Now, did someone...
Russell's in the middle. Yeah, Russell's in the middle of that.
Well, there's damage on the back of it, so Russell hit the back of him.
Oh!
See the damage on the back of it?
Yeah.
So maybe Russell got into the back of him because he couldn't see it.
Couldn't see where he's going, yeah. There's lots.
Oh, it's a bit late. That sounds like a pretty good theory to me, Neil.
Well, it's got damage on the back of it.
There's no other reason why you'd spin.
And well, unless it was from early in the race, but let's see if... Well, see, there's nothing much showing on the front of Russell's car, so...
Not quite sure.
Don't know.
I'll tell you what that damage was. Welcome back to Sandown, the V8 Ultimate. The action continues. Glenn Seaton very fortunate not to roll the Ford Tickford AU as it comes to rest in the turn 1 sand trap. Quite a treacherous turn, that one. The view from overhead. And he's certainly not the first and certainly won't be the last to have done that in turn 1.
Funny, that's just what we were talking about before.
To complete his compulsory pit stop, and he's lost all of that margin.
It's incredible, the DJR problems they've had with engines this year.
Yeah, where was it? Darwin, where they lost all their engines. And
Mount Panorama, they lost one. Radicic lost one there. Stephen lost one in race 2. They've had a number of engine problems, which is most uncharacteristic of DJR.
This incident involving Glenn in the number 5 FTR Ford started in the braking area to turn 1, where he just aquaplaned big time and slammed the fence on the right-hand side. That's what dislodged the front wing assembly and then ended up down there in the gravel.
All fun and games here at Sandown as we are back under green. The safety car has left the circuit. Brad Jones also after some contact with Stephen Ellery.
So they hung out a little bit too long. Here's Bradley on the inside of Ellery.
Oh, we didn't see that earlier.
No, we didn't.
Now watch for the payback.
Look at this, watch.
Under brakes into the next turn.
No, look, what?
Contact with Bernard.
And then another one, bang.
Now watch. Lovely. Bradley did a good job, didn't he? Because he turned left and came back on the circuit behind.
Like he was on his way to the Dandenongs for a moment there.
Just as Ellery hit everybody in the field there.
But Brad pays a heavy price there. He's gone right up into the grass and to rejoin the race right at the back of the field. Here's the battle for the lead, though. Jason Bargwanna, Jason Richards.
Fox, he's flying.
Oh, Rodney Forbes.
Anthony Tratt, he did a good job to miss that, didn't he?
He sure did.
This is just an indication of how slippery it's getting out there, how bad the vision is. All these cars coming off left, right and centre.
It just turns into an ice skating rink. It's so hard. I mean, Paul Radisich summed it up there beautifully before. It just, you've got no idea watching on television just how little visibility there is. Then who knows? Well, here's more cars. Scaife. Stephen Richards is involved. This is getting crazy. It's getting silly. This is coming up to the final corner. Scaife's pointing the wrong way. There's Rodney Forbes, who is pointing the right way again after his excursion. Bradley went off before at turn 2.
He's got damage to the front end of this car as well. How bad it is, we don't yet know.
Pretty bad.
Yeah,
look at that.
Well, the interesting thing here, Marcus Ambrose is the first of the cars that's made its compulsory stop. He's in 3rd position. He's only about 5 or 6 seconds behind Jason Bargwanna, so Ambrose is sitting in the box seat at the moment.
Yeah.
But not the champ. We have not seen it. Barely a scratch on this car.
He's going to go off.
Oh, he's gone off.
It's not making any aero downforce at all at the front, so, and there could be bits of fiberglass and rubbish in there, so Mark will be able to hear the thing scraping.
And I'd say that Jeff Gregg will have already told Mark to come on in.
Yeah, I reckon that he'll bring the thing in if it's got terminal front end damage. At a minimum, they'll bring it in and have a look at it, make sure the car is actually safe.
Look at that. That's on the back straight.
Jason Richards is now the race leader. I think Jason Bargwanna is either pitted or Richards.
On. You might also be able to notice from that shot that Garth Tander's car is here in pit lane. They developed some sort of problem, and Garth is out of the car and none too happy at the moment.
And Mark Scaife's coming in. Let's have a look at the damage on the front of this car, and it's pretty substantial around the front left-hand corner. I understand that if Mark wanted to get a feel for the car on that lap, and if they can repair it, and he'd prefer to get back out there and go, that decision will be made by those looking from the outside, no doubt.
I'll tell you, he's absolutely charging at the moment is Craig Lowndes. He's gone from 16th up to 5th in the space of 3 laps. Gibson Motorsport Ford is absolutely marching through the field, and he's up to 4th in the order.
He switched it off.
That's not the way that Mark Scaife wanted to end this season. Here is the Shell Helix replay. Let's see what we can make of this.
Oh, this is Mark chasing the back of Greg Murphy.
Yep. What happens
and they're
here?
going into the turn 9. He's gone up the inside of Murph.
Gone straight on.
Gone straight on.
Right. What did all the damage, though?
He's probably going to hit something on the way out.
Stephen Richards was involved somewhere. There's Stephen.
That's what did all the damage.
Yeah.
He hit Richo. So just an indication of how slippery it is. Scaife saw him come off there in race 2. It's caught him again in race 3, but he's paid a big price this time. Damage to the car and retirement from the race.
Yeah, it's a very disappointing end too. It had been going so well, but the conditions here are just so treacherous, Mark.
Yeah, that was a silly mistake of mine. I hit up the inside right. I was going to make it okay, and understeered pretty wide and got up on the curb, and I was a bit excited about getting back on the black stuff and spun around, so I ended up hitting Steve Richards. He was the innocent party in the end, so that was a bit dumb. Not a good way to finish our year. I would have really loved to have gone a bit better in that one.
Besides that, though, mate, what are the conditions like out there at the moment? We've asked a couple of people, they just say it's ridiculous almost.
Well, at the restart, you drive down the straight, and at whatever speed, you cannot see a thing. So, you know, it's pretty wild, but as soon as you can get past a couple of blokes, you can actually see, and it's good, and it's fantastic fun. I mean, driving in the wet is bloody good fun, but you just, you know, I mean, you just got to keep your head a bit with it, Rusty, and obviously Scaife didn't do that today.
Keep smiling, but...
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, he's hard on tree
with us.
And the amount of gravel coming out of the front of McConville's car.
Oh, that is McConville corner, that, isn't it? That's where Cam went in there upside down.
Only just picked up the edge of it and managed to grab the throttle in the nick of time and just squeeze out. That was a pretty lucky save there for Cam. And you could see it as he went in.
Dus is staat spookvullen. Staat spookvullen. Job get to tempo. Who's the ball get to tempo? Who's the ball get to tempo? Who's the ball get to suit? Ball get to suit is ball get to. Is ball get to. Maar dit weer op get to.